What's up, Squatch Ranger YouTube channel? It's the Squatch Ranger coming back at you. Today, we're looking at Bigfoot tracks versus human tracks, the length versus the width. Because back in December, we took a call for the Native Oklahoma Bigfoot Research Organization. We went out to Chandler Park in Tulsa. There was a mysterious track, a single track. It was 17 inches long, 7 inches wide. We had lots of feedback. Lots of people wrote into us saying, I have 15-inch footprint. I have 17-inch footprint. That could have been me. There's so many big, tall guys around. Yes, that's true. It could be a human footprint. There are lots of people with 17-inch feet. But the question is, do you know the width of your foot? And none of the people that wrote into me could tell me the width of their foot. And they said, that's a good point. So if you look in this diagram, courtesy of cliffbarrickman.com, Bigfoot researcher. So here's a little diagram. We go off the formula that a legitimate Bigfoot track, the width should be half of the length. So if you were to have a 20-inch track, your width of your foot should be around 10 inches, give or take a couple of inches. And those would put us in the right dimensions to be a legitimate Bigfoot track. So what I want to do, since we're bringing this question up, this could be a human. Let's take a very, very common human being that almost everybody knows. He's very well known, even if you're not a sports fan. Let's look at Shaq, Shaquille O'Neal. So let's take a look at his foot, see how he stacks up. If he were to be barefoot in the mud, how would his foot stack up against this formula? He had a stellar career, including 4 championships, 3 finals MVP awards, and 15 All-Star appearances. The Shaq clocks in at 7 feet 1 inch tall and wears enormous size 22 shoes. Other sources cite him at 23 size shoes. Despite his successes, O'Neal was plagued with foot problems for much of his basketball career. He suffered from chronic bone spurs in his little toe, so ironically, a tiny but very painful joint sidelined one of the biggest men in the history of the NBA. Bone spurs on toes can be very painful. Toe bone spurs occur most often on the little toe, but can appear in any other toe as well as on the sides of the toes. They are usually caused by excessive pressure on the toes when squeezed together from wearing shoes. This is very interesting, guys. So, a very, very large man with a 22 to 23 size shoe, his foot is so big, his toes are getting squeezed together, wearing shoes all the time, doing, drills in basketball, running sprints, running, back and forth for an hour and a half in a basketball game. That's going to wear on a big man's toes, and they're getting squeezed together, and so this is causing these bone spurs. A supposed Bigfoot creature never wears shoes their entire life. Their toes will not get squeezed together, so we're not going to see that in their Bigfoot track. So I'm just making that point. Even though they're a huge individual like Shaq, he has toe bone spurs resulting from the shoe squeezing his toes together. That would show up in his track. Let's move on here. So Shaq went on live television on his TNT broadcast during a NBA game, and he showed his feet to the world. Here's what they look like. You can see how they're kind of squeezed together, and Shaq probably couldn't be a foot model. He got a lot of feedback, and a lot of people wrote into him. I think it was a lot of negative feedback about his feet, and lots of people made jokes about his feet. Shaq's personality, he went out and got a pedicure and said, look, world, I'm getting a pedicure. You made fun of my feet. You said I have ugly feet. Look at this. I'm getting a pedicure. So he went out and did that. So here in these clips, you can see him getting the pedicure. He has very odd-shaped toes from being squeezed together in the shoes. We're looking at his toes here and looking at his feet. You can kind of see the type of tracks that we're finding out in the woods probably don't look like this. I couldn't find on the internet. There is no, in my 5-minute quick Google search, I cannot find Shaq's dimensions. Okay, so what we do know is he wears a size 22 to 23 shoe. So we're just going to go with 23, okay? I cannot find the width of his foot anywhere on the internet. If it's out there, I didn't find it in my 5-minute search. So if you can find that, that would be great. Write in, send us a link to the article, let me know. But for now, I'm just going to do a very unofficial measurement. So what I did was I took 2 rulers, okay, so 2 rulers would be 24 inches, okay, so I put them down to scale, and I put them beside his foot right here, and I put his foot at 23 inches, saying that he wears size 23 shoes, okay? So then I took the same scaled down ruler, and then I measured the width of his foot from this picture. It's not the best angle, but it's what we got to go with for the video. And so you can see he's actually just under 6 inches. So if he has a size, let's say a size 22 foot, he should be, half of that should be 11 inches. So he should be, and I'll give him a couple inches, give or take, for the width, okay? So we could say 9 inches. His foot should be about 9 inches wide to be a legitimate Bigfoot track out in the wild if we found his track. Okay, well, from this measurement, I'm getting under 6 inches. Shaq's width of his foot doesn't stack up. It's just not what we're looking for in a legitimate Bigfoot track if we found one out in the wild. So there you have it, folks. Here's a huge individual, Shaquille O'Neal. He is 7'1". He has size 22 to 23 shoes, and the width of his foot doesn't stack up. So skeptics, there you go. There it is. I do realize that Shaq is not every human being out there. Lots of humans have different dimensions, but I think this is a pretty done deal. Humans just don't have those kind of dimensions, what we're finding in the Bigfoot tracks. Write in the comments. Let me know what you think of this video. Thanks, guys.